What's up, guys? So today we are locking in with Anubis and getting a reading. I'm going to be using his invocation, and yes, I'm going to read it off my phone. Okay. So if you want to tap in with me, definitely lock in right here. I got some frankincense going, so your girl's a little parched, okay, but we're gonna get through this. Okay, so definitely tap in, and I will see you when I'm done. Hail, Anubis, Lord of the sacred land, guardian of the necropolis, silent and grand. We call upon you, opener of the ways, to guide us through the veil where eternity lays. Master of secrets, keeper of the unknown, before you the realm of spirit are shown. Patron of the lost souls, bring them near, that their voices may speak clear and sincere. He who is before the divine booth, witness and guardian of eternal truth, bless this sacred act with your might and illuminate your path with your guiding light. Silent God, we honor your grace, Lord of the embalmer's house, holder of space, keeper of keys to eternity's doors. Grant us the wisdom of those who've come before. Master of the cemetery, still and profound, we summon the voices beneath the ground. Pathfinder who wields through shadow and flame, bring forth the ancestors who answer their name. Take some time here to think about an ancestor that you would like to receive this message from. Anubis, we seek the counsel of the ancient line, their whispers, their stories, their divine guidance. May their words flow through this sacred rite, and may truth prevail in your eternal sight. With gratitude and awe, we begin this prayer, knowing, Anubis, that you are there. It is as God is. Let's get into this reading, honey, because, okay, that shit ain't down. I ain't even gonna cap, y'all, okay? And I write that just before we sat down. Okay, let's go. The wonders of working with spirit. Okay. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful night, okay? So I have some oracle cards here that we're gonna get into first. Let me get some water. Oh, girl, because that throat was suffering. Let's get into it. Okay. I am so hyped, y'all. It's been such a while since I've had a reading. Let me psych myself up, baby. Okay. So we're going to be working with this deck here and this deck and let's see. It's kind of funny because I usually already have everything laid out, but y'all, I low-key was trying to go to sleep, and he was like, no, baby, we ain't going to sleep. You're going to get some messages today, so that's what we're doing. Okay. Okay, so we have going beyond normal. I love that card. It gives me the feeling of like hitting another level. Do you know what I mean? So let's see what we got here. We have going beyond normal. Every journey starts with a single step. Every journey starts with a single step. Focus on the light and heaven sent. So already from the top, y'all, the ancestors is coming on strong as hell. Thank you, Anubis. All right. I call forth the divine creator, Mawalisa, to be present with us. I call forth the ancestors of the collective of the highest good and right path to be present with us, of their maternal and paternal lines. May you be uplifted, venerated, and held high with honor. Ashe, ashe, asheo. Okay, let's get into this, because when I'm telling you, that thing was already eaten down before I even got started. Okay, so going beyond normal, you got the journey starts with the first step, focus on the light and heaven sent. First of all, boo, like whatever is about to come to you, that shit is about to eat all the way down. Like, first of all, spirit is like, all this shit, it's like sometimes you feel like things are kind of chaotic, but they're actually lining up. Sometimes it can feel chaotic when a bunch of things are coming together to align for a specific idea to be birthed. I feel like sometimes the birthing of an idea can be overwhelming, not just for you, but everyone around you, because not only are you shifting, they're being required to shift as well in order to keep up with you. Every journey starts with a single step. For some of y'all are about to take a major leap. Spirit is like, do that shit. Do it. Don't second guess yourself. It's a great idea. Cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. Right now, what you're about to do is move hella different. And the way that you're moving different is you're going to stop allowing things to influence you. And you're about to be a moving force that influences everything. And it feels like you're moving your manifested energy into spaces that ground into your physical life. And it feels sometimes like you're being overly, I heard fantastical. Portal, doors opening. Once you decide, rewards, wild card. Okay, confirmation. Sorry, I am sorry. Defenselessness, righting past wrongs, uprooting. So it feels like you've decided to let go entirely of this survival energy. And for some of you, you're still not yet at that space where you've decided on this yet, but it feels like that is the move for you. So if you're thinking about it, definitely let that shit go. Spirit is telling you to focus on the light. You're going to have to do some shadow work around this is ancestral energy. And Spirit is saying you are working through this shit, and it's rough, okay? But it's causing you to have to live through the work. You're living through the work. Some people, you could sit down, you can hermit for a little bit and work on it. But for you, the way that things are moving right now, you are being called to like move through the work, live through the work. The work is coming to you in life. People are coming to you. Situations are coming to you. Situations are moving from you. Things are detaching, and it's moving really quickly. It's not, I feel like you've been through this multiple times, and before things moved a lot slower. Things were a lot less intense. And partially that's because you had a lot of attachments to things. So Spirit had to slow down the energy. But right now, Spirit is done with the shits, because first of all, you're not attached to anything. All of this shit that's going away was not shit that you was attached to anyway. It was stuff that you thought that you dealt with already, but you still had lingering bits and pieces of that attached to your identity. So you had to work through that shit. And damn, that shit is annoying as fuck, but you got this. You feel me? So then you are going through this portal, okay? And this portal is your first single step into this journey. You focusing on the light, you going toward the light, you doing what you gotta do. And Spirit is like, fucking don't doubt that shit. Don't doubt that shit. Every move you making right now is divinely guided and is stepped. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. You're locked in. Release the dark wound and let love live. You've tried to make these steps multiple times. This is not something new for you. This is something tried, true, and failed multiple times. I ain't even gonna count with you. But it just wasn't your time. You had to learn every fucking pitfall that you needed to learn so that when it was real, you didn't fall into it. For some of y'all, you fell into it a few times and then you had to get out and then realize, I can't be doing that dumb stuff no more. Okay? On the bottom of the deck, we got in the world, not of the world. You learn how to set boundaries. Ooh, finally. I love some good boundaries, y'all. Because as y'all know, when you ain't got boundaries, you ain't got shit. Because people will take all your shit if you ain't got boundaries. So, and they're like, you needed to have this space. You needed to have this time. You needed to have this understanding that this is where you were supposed to be. And this is what you needed to do to be here. And even though some of the steps that weren't quite right, set different, it's like you were so all over the place and chaotic. But your energy was so chaotic so you could pick up all the shit that you lost on your way down into these holes that you was never supposed to be in the first place. Some of them people kicked you down. Some of them, you just wasn't paying attention and fell into that shit. Some of them, it was just like past energy, things that happened in the past before you even knew nothing about anything. And you was just running into people, running into situations, running into pitfalls, and you barely escaped. You know what I'm saying? And Spirit is like, it's okay, but I had to take you back there so you could really understand where you was at, the decisions that you made and how it got you here, but also how it got you to those low points, how it got you to that desperation, how it got you to those dark nights of the soul, to understand all of these different things was to prepare you, but also how to not go back into that bullshit, because some of that bullshit you had to deal with, but you was dealing with it because you thought that you had to, you thought that you needed to. But that shit, that life, that you is dead now, because you decided to make this choice. You decided to move a lot different. Let's hear more about this situation. So we got the Ace of Wands here. Ooh, that feels like really good energy. I heard, I know I can. Maybe at a certain point you didn't believe that you could do something, that you really was trying real hard to try to do that shit, and you just could not. It just wouldn't go. No matter how hard you try, it just would not shake. And Spirit is saying it just wasn't time. It just wasn't time for things to shake. The Magician, you're pulling a lot of things into place right now. Everything is coming into place. Okay. The Hangman upright. You're having a hard time seeing that all of this is going for your good. Okay. You're having a hard time seeing that all of this is going for your good. Part of that with Empress on the bottom of the deck in reverse. Okay. So this feels like you don't really know what's happening. You know what you got to do, but you don't know how things are to be executed or what to do. But it's like Spirit is telling you just a little bit longer. Just stick with us a little bit longer, because you're getting stuff as it's coming up. Does that make sense? Like, I'm going to give y'all an example because, hold on. Okay, y'all. So I'm going to give y'all an example because this happens to me all the time. So sometimes Spirit will put some shit up on you. You might get a reading for somebody, or you might be intuitive. You might have a dream, whatever. But a couple days before, a week before, 2 weeks before, the day before, you might have a dream. You might get a message that you going out of town. And you're like, bitch, I ain't got no money to go out of town. I ain't got no way to go out of town, da, da, da. But then in a couple of days, in a week, in 2 weeks, you find out that you're going out of town. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I ain't have the money then, but somebody gonna pay for me and I need to go to this place. Or it's just so nice somebody was like, they was gonna pay for me, they was gonna take me out, they was gonna do something for me. Whatever the case may be, but now you're going out of town. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's last minute. So I feel like spirit, you've gotten to this space where you're just like, man, I don't know what the fuck is happening. And you really can't tell up from down with the hangman upright, in reverse. And you really can't tell up from down. But at this point, spirit is saying, change the way you're thinking about it. For some of y'all, it feels like spirit just kind of stuck you out somewhere and been like, deal with it. Just go out there and just threw you into a crowd, threw you into the room, threw you into this area, and you don't know what to do, how you doing this shit. Like, it just don't feel solidified. Spirit says you have to do it for it to be solidified, and it's not going to make sense. You need to understand that you're being guided through it, so you need to take your time. Take your time molding everything together, but you have to start. You can't wait any longer. Then we have the Ten of Cups in reverse. So I feel like the Ten of Cups in reverse, you have all the things you need to be happy about this situation coming about, but you're just over it because everything was so chaotic for a long time. Like, it's hard for you to solidify into where you need to be. And with the Four of Wands, it feels like the creativity, the drive, the passion is just not there. It's not there. You don't feel it. You don't feel the happiness, even though everything is in place. You don't feel the passion. It's just everything is into place. You may feel kind of down with the Four of Cups. It's like you want things to happen. You could have been really depressed, down and out type shit. But it's like, you got to get the fuck up. You can't keep being tired and tired and tired. And you done been through some fucked up shit. I ain't even gonna cap. It's been people out here that's been trying to dim your light for a long ass time. And if we being real with you, if it wasn't for your will, if it wasn't for just the pettiness on you, that was just like, I ain't never gonna fall down on my knees for a fucking body. I'm getting my ass up even if I'm limping, bitch. You ain't never gonna see me on the ground. Even if it's like that, they saying it's okay because you about to get all that shit you want. In the dark or not in the dark, you about to get it. And you got this card, everything is fine. And realistically, that shit not fine. But what it's doing, this energy you are pushing out. You're pushing yourself through this energy. This is the chaos that you have been having to go through. And it's hard. But with the King of Wands here, the King of Wands is really demanding you to come and to be that. And it's like you have to be that by also feeling sad about what happened in the past. And I feel like some things that happened in your past is not that far in the past. That shit is like around the corner. You know what I'm saying? That shit is like right there. You understand? Like, it's right there. So I feel like with the Empress in reverse, a lot of it is just the fact that you feel confused as shit, but you don't have a choice but to move forward right now. You don't have a choice but to do what Spirit told you to fucking do. Okay? For some of y'all can't hear Spirit. So when you hear messages and that shit be spot on, you almost is living the reading in the moment. Understanding what's happening to you as certain things click into place and you're understanding it in the moment when the reading is resonating in real life. And Spirit is like, that's okay. Don't be mad at us. All things are coming together. You are working together. Some of y'all are coming into some type of friendship, some type of connection. And this person, they see that you have this pentacle, okay? They see you have this 7 of Pentacle. They see it. And what do they have? Pull the top card. The Magician. They understand that you're the Magician. You got the Magician twice. They can see. With the 7 of Pentacle and the Magician, they can see that you are effectively doing something. And in this 7 of Pentacle, it's a little bit different because you have 5 pentacles in one space and 2 pentacles in another. So I feel like you have something that's already working, but it's not fruited. So it's like it's working, but it needs support. So you're creating something else and they come together. And Spirit is saying, this is correct. Don't doubt that. Don't doubt that. So if you have like a side hustle or something like that, when I split the deck, it said faith in the process, card 32, and 17, what is already within you. So it seems to me like you got everything you need, but you just don't feel up to it. Ancestors, give us some more guidance here. The Chariot. You're getting all your ducks together. Everything is coming together slowly. Slowly, they say. But it's coming together. The thing is that you're used to moving a lot faster. A lot faster. Okay, they said this card is supposed to be upright. You're used to moving a lot faster. And the reason why you're moving slow this time around is so that you can fix the things that don't work faster. Sometimes you attempt to fix something after you have propelled and perpetuated and manifested with that problem in place. You can't do that anymore. Okay? So when it comes to you doing something, you need to do that shit. And then you need to open that shit up and assess if it's working. Okay? Because if it's not working, you need to pull things apart, rework them, and put them back together. Okay? With the Son of Wands, it's definitely giving trust. And there's this dark side of you that needs to be integrated fully so that you're able to see the ins and outs of certain mechanisms. It feels like maybe you have a business or that you're going into an elusive kind of career where it's kind of nitty gritty, like people are just in it to win it and they'll step on anybody to get it. It feels like it's a cutthroat place. And Spirit is saying, in order for you to exist in a cutthroat place, you don't need to become cutthroat, but you need to be able to put that motherfucker on if somebody got you fucked up. Some of y'all is just a little bit too nice. And that's okay, because that's in your heart and that's who you're supposed to be. But you just can't be nice to the wrong people. Okay? You got to be nice to the right people. But you got to be able to have that level of discernment and that level of slapback. Because if a nigga got you fucked up, you need to put them right back into place, because I'm not going to be dealing with that bullshit. Because if you're going to deal with the bullshit in one place, then that shit going to proliferate into everything else you got. Right? So you got to nip it in the bud immediately. And then boom. And that's the same thing with everything else. It's some shit not really working the way it needs to. And then boom. Oh, nah. So it's very, what is this? Diligent, consistent, determined. I'm gonna fucking do that shit no matter what. Even if I gotta pick all my shit up and take it somewhere else. Ace of Cups. Be consistent, okay? You're about to feel a lot different than you've been feeling. But it's like you had to drag yourself into the energy of the wands, of the King of Wands. When I'm telling you that shit was rough than a motherfucker, okay? It was rough. And you're still detoxing the of that shit. Okay? It was rough. And you really want to feel good a lot, but sometimes you only feel good sometimes, and then sometimes be feeling real sparse. Like from week to week, 1 week could be really great, and the next week could just be shitty as fuck. And then, but it's gonna decrease to where some days gonna be really great, and some days gonna be shitty as fuck. But it's gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller until it's like one day out the week is shitty, and the rest of the days are great, until it's just great. And that's you leaving the vibration and the manifestations of that vibration that you were once in. And Spirit is saying you have to pull yourself out of it by being consistent with not only just your delusion, but you being in it in a way that allows you to kind of be in your own truth. Seeing things like a child, seeing things in a way of seeing things held high. I feel like you're a very honorable person. When you meet people, their demeanor changes. And you know why their demeanor changes? Because of who you are. What you bring to the table is nothing to play with. When you give somebody favor upon a life, that shit hit. That shit hit. Even if you just pray for a motherfucker, be careful who you praying for. Because some of y'all done prayed for the person who stabbed your ass in the back. And Spirit is like, you can't do that this time around. You got to learn how to get people, move them a specific type of way. You got to learn how to slither between the noise. It's giving Slytherin vibes, okay? And I'm hearing you have to position yourself in your mind as royalty so that you're no longer moving around like a peasant, because you was raised, treated, and loved like a peasant, okay? But you're not a peasant, and you haven't been a peasant for a long time, but everybody can see it but you. Everybody can see what you hold but you. But the thing is, you just be thinking too tight, okay? Big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. Everything you're going to get from this point forward is inspired. It's going to fucking hit every time. And regardless if there's somebody there to see it or not, that shit don't matter, because it is going to eat every time someone sees it, every time someone experiences it. Even without you being there, it's just going to proliferate. And in that shit is going to eat down. Seed of Mintaka. Seeing potential. Bringing unconsciousness to light. Seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. There's a lot of healing that's going to come through this. The healing is going to be because you've healed shit that ancestors have been trying to heal for generation after generation after generation. And now, because of you, the shit that you healed, people can come into your life and that shit will flip their script. Some shit that's a fucking blessing for every person that meets you. That shit gonna hit different. Real different. All paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. It's time for you to start thinking about who you are, holding yourself at a higher standard. Regardless of what you do, I think you have so much attachment to the title of what you do, but that title means nothing. It means nothing. The thing is the energy you carry is so much more elevated, so much more dense, so much more royal than what you appear to be, than the title you appear to give. And because of that shit eat down way different than you believe people are perceiving you. People talk about you way longer after you done been gone. Still talking about you. still talking about you, knowing that they never meant you. They would have never did the things, stepped into the places without being that initiated by you. Maybe that initiation for them to make that turn was you leaving the fuck up out their life, or for you getting on with somebody and getting up and doing your own shit because they wouldn't support you, moving them out the way so you can go ahead and get what you need done, setting boundaries with them, telling them, I can't do this shit no more because ABCD. Or just up and ghosting a motherfucker because you know they can't handle a real nigga talk. Sometimes that shit happen. But I'm going to let you know right now, you was ready. Because you've been that one the entire time. You just never knew. You just never knew. Deep cellular healing, Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. I'm talking about this healing people are going to experience through you, and the healing that you are embodied with because you did the fucking work. You did it. That shit hit every time. But you are learning something right now. So don't expect a perfect transformation on anybody's part. One, because people don't execute. People not going to execute as perfect as you. And you wasn't even that perfect. Okay? But they not going to execute in the same diligent, consistent, determined way. So you got to give them space, time, understanding, right? Now, you can point that shit out all day. But if a person ain't got their mind right to get that shit together, to make those moves, to make those transitions, you just need to plant them seeds in the ground. And if some shit happen where y'all can't shake like that no more, them seeds is still there. Okay? And whether they sprout today, tomorrow, next week, 2 months later, next season, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 30 years from now, you planted them. And that was your job. That's what you was there for. That was the experience that you needed to have for yourself. And that's the experience that they needed to make the transition that you planted when they're ready. And sometimes that means that you got to get the fuck on their ass for them to get it together. Okay? Whale and orca elders. Share your song, sound frequencies, deep dive. You really need to share your shit. Do your shit. Something about you is like a portal. When people meet you, they have the opportunity to walk into a different life. There are people on this earth who are portals. They're gateways. They are at the crossroads. That's their job to be there. They sit at the crossroads. And each time they travel through one crossroad to the next, they take a short pit stop at these crossroads, and people can walk through their portal. People can meet them and shift instantaneously. And it's not the person themselves, it's the energy they carry. And you're one of these people. Okay? And some people, because they haven't worked through their shit, they can let some people in, but they can't let other people in because the shit that person has either healed or need to heal in order to pass through that gate has not met the requirements. Whether the gate has not met the requirements or the person hasn't met the requirements. But what you need to understand is the gate or the gatekeeper, when that person doesn't meet the requirements, or when the person who holds the portal doesn't meet the requirements, you can't pass through that portal. You can't. You're going to have to be stationed for a little bit in order to meet another portal, or to go to a different crossroad, to travel down your path a little bit longer to meet the right person to shift in and shift out. Sometimes you will meet a person who pretends to be a portal, but you will meet the person behind them who is the real portal. And once you get to them, the portal is successfully crossed. You need to understand how to maneuver in this world, how to maneuver and get certain things done, how to shift, how to hit, how to work it around. And if you don't understand that, if you don't understand how to move, you're not going to get what you need. Does that make sense? You're not going to hit and twist and move the way you need to move. Learn as you're moving the flow of what you're doing, because you're not going to be able to logic this, period. It's not a logical, you can't logic this shit. This is spiritual shit. When you're moving on a spiritual plane, when you're moving in the energy of the moon, okay? Because when you're in the sun, you can see things clearly, regardless if you're thirsty, you're parched, or your skin is burning, or it's just warm, it's nice, and it's a breeze. You can see in front of you. When it's dark, you can't see shit, okay? So if you got a torch in the dark, if you got a flashlight in the dark, only so much can be illuminated at a time. The light of the moon only stretches over the dark so much. And so you need to understand that it's a space where you have to use all of your senses. You have to feel it. And you have to use those abilities, your psychic abilities, to really maneuver this space. Now, for those of you who haven't developed that, I know some of y'all are there. Y'all can join my community that I am launching. Come on, link in bio. Definitely tap in with me, okay? If you want to learn how to connect better with your spirit team, your guides, in your practice, etc., we have classes, okay? But for the rest of you, dive into this, because I have a bunch of videos that teach you how to use your psychic abilities. It is paramount to do this work. Even if you work in a job where you feel like you don't need it, having guidance helps your life, period. Okay? Just being able to understand that from getting to point A to point B today, that was supposed to take you 30 minutes, is going to take you 2 hours because of setback at the setback at the setback. You would be able to move a little bit differently, less frustrated and less pissed off, less annoyed. Okay? And that's just simple shit. That's just simple shit. I want you to understand that the way spirit is moving you now, it's guided. It's guided. You're afraid of the unknown because you had to walk that shit without any guidance before. And you got your ass eaten alive. Okay? You got your ass eaten alive. And you can't do that shit no more. You're afraid of that shit. And that's perfectly fine. Anybody would be fucking afraid of that shit. Don't beat yourself up about it. But now, you can't keep playing these games. You gotta get your ass up. You gotta get that shit done. And you gotta keep going. This is your reading. I know that everything here is literally for you. You got tribe members coming in. You stepping into a new path. Everything is looking up. And even though right now you want to be pessimistic as fuck, because things aren't, you dragging yourself into this shit because you know this is where you need to be. And you're doing a great job. Keep doing that fucking shit. Because you're that one. And just because somebody had you fucked up a little bit, just because it's some couple things overstepped your boundaries, just because little things tack, overwhelm the fuck out of your ass, let me tell you something. It's okay. Those things helped you review. Those things helped you remember different parts of yourself. Those things uncovered new parts of yourself that maybe you could have dug into, but didn't in the past. And now you got that shit, don't you? You understand that, don't you? You won't be doing that shit no more, won't you? I want you to understand that these things is hitting different now. And you need to understand that this is good. It don't always feel good, but it is good for you. And what's good for you end up creating good outcomes that suck in the process of getting there sometimes. But what you gotta do is stay a little bit delulu so that you can actually have a good time getting there, because sometimes when the getting is good, it don't always feel good. Okay, so I love you. I love you. I hope that you continue to rise and continue to move with your highest I, okay? Continue to thrive, baby. I am grateful for the ancestors, angels, and guides being present today to help you receive this message. And y'all, please tell me down in the comments if this resonates with you. Like, sometimes I feel like when I be reading, like, I don't know if that should be hitting. I know, like, it's like, y'all, sometimes you be channeling, but I just say what the spirit give me. So let me know down below if this really resonated with you. Tell me how it resonated, and, you know, drop some stuff down below. I love you so much. Continue to elevate, continue to rise, and continue to fucking thrive, because you're that one, like you've always been.